Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my channel. I am Shanti and this video is the third in a series of videos that I am making based on a book called Lies My Doctor Told Me by Ken Berry. Now this particular video, this particular topic is especially close to my heart because it has been extremely useful through the years, and I believe this is a concept that is a must know if you are looking towards building a better health, a better life. So what is the topic? It is the relationship between blood sugar spike and overall health. So this is picked up from chapter 6, Wheat Isn't All It's Cracked Up to Be, from the book Lies My Doctor Told Me, but I am going to go beyond what is given in the book. So the book was a good starting point for me. I've come to understand certain basics, but since then I have been able to gather more information regarding this concept, and I want to talk about this in this video so that you get a more wholesome picture so that you can apply it in your life. So the very first thing that you need to know is what is meant by a blood sugar spike. So when you take the blood sample, let's say you go to a testing center and you've taken a blood sample, then the value of glucose that you're going to get, it is a single value. Okay, let's say you take the sample at 9 a.m. then it is the value at 9 a.m. What if you can plot the various values of glucose with respect to the time? So that means at 9 a.m. what is the blood glucose value? What is the value at 9:15, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, right? So this is going to give you a graph. On the y-axis you will have the blood sugar, on the x-axis you have the time of the day, so you're going to get a graph. This graph is not going to be constant. It's going to vary a bit. Now this varying that you get, if there is a spike in the sense there is a huge rise within a very short period of time, okay, that is what is constituting a spike. Now how do you get this blood sugar graph in the first place is through a device called CGM, continuous glucose monitor. So what it does is, it is a receptor that you attach to the body and it will constantly measure and it will give you the data. So you can see that data on a app on your mobile. Now I have personally not used the CGM, but I have followed people online using it, and I don't think it is available in India. Even if it is available, I don't think it is affordable. So there is one particular instance where the health blogger talked about how a 4-hour car ride has caused a spike in her blood sugar. So that gives you an indication as to what are the various activities in your life that are triggering a blood sugar spike, right? So what you eat, what is your stress levels, what is your mental health condition, all of these are going to play a part in your blood sugar values throughout the day. But it has to be noted that each of us have different triggers. Like the same kind of stress may not cause a blood sugar spike in me, but it may cause in you, and so things like that. So we have different triggers, but of course there are some common laws as well, and that is what we are going to focus on today. So stress levels and sedentary lifestyle, all of this matter, that's anyways there, so you have to take care of them. But in this video we're going to talk about food, how certain food habits are going to cause a spike in the blood. But before we go ahead, what exactly, like if there is a spike, what is the problem, right? So it is not good for your overall health, that is true, but what are the indicators by which we know that your overall health is not good? So aging, when you have hormonal issues, when you have energy levels, low energy levels, you have sleep issues, all of these may indicate that you have blood sugar, too many blood sugar spikes throughout the day. Okay, so these are the indicators, various indicators through which you understand that there are blood sugar spikes in your body resulting in poorer health. So in a day or two it's not going to matter much, but over the years, for decades together, you are continuing to have these habits which are going to have a blood sugar spike. That's what is bad for you. Okay, so now what is the factors in food habits that cause blood sugar spike? So the very first point is with respect to sugar. Dessert that you have, any kind of ice cream, cool drinks, anything which has high sugar content, is going to have a very high spike in your blood. Okay, so that is why these are all not good for us. They are not only going to get us diabetes, they're going to get us a lot of lifestyle diseases. And even if you don't have any disease currently, if you are someone who consumes a lot of these sugary foods, then you are going to not have good energy levels. Maybe you're someone who feels stuck, you're not able to do anything, you feel frustrated a lot, then it means that you have to cut down on your sugary foods. All right, so another important thing, but I will talk a little bit about what you can do about, like, you don't have to completely avoid these sugars. I would say you avoid certain foods, but once in a while you can have a treat, you can have a sugary treat, but at the right time. So I will talk about it in a bit. The next thing is carbs. So you must have heard a lot of debate going on about whether or not carbs are good for you. Now, this is the basis. When you have carbs, they are going to give you a spike. Okay? Compared to protein or fat, the carbs that you eat, the carbs in your food, is going to give you a spike. And that's the basis by which we are looking down on carbs. But it's not necessary that you go completely low carb or zero carb. I don't personally believe in that. What I instead believe is to cut down on carbs which are bad for you, right? So what are the carbs which are bad for you? Sugar is a form of carb, so that is bad for you. And processed foods, so the kind of junk food that you have, French fries or burgers, this is going to have a bad effect on you. Processed foods like cornflakes that you have, chocos, all of these are going to have a negative impact. So why is that? The fact that they are processed means that the body spends lesser time, lesser energy on trying to break it down. So soon as you eat, you're going to get a spike because it is very easily broken down, and the glucose will go into your bloodstream very fast. So that's why you have the spike. So one particular thing which amazed me is the glucose powder. So we have these ads wherein you have glucose and then you have like energy, there's like instantly you're getting energy. So this is all bad publicity. You are going to get instant energy because they get processed very very fast in your body. So that instant spike is going to make you feel like you feel instantly energetic, but it's only a spike. When it goes down, it's going to actually make you feel much worse. So the glucose that we have, glucose powders that we mix in water, they're not good for you. Okay, so avoid that, avoid processed foods, avoid sugar. Now what are the healthy carbs is fruits, vegetable, nuts and sprouts and such things like that. Now wheat and rice are considered complex carbs only, but owing to the mass production or whatever agricultural methods that have degraded their quality, that's what is present in the book, in fact. So that is the reason why we need to be wary of the amount of rice and roti that we have. Okay, so I personally, how do I try to reduce the amount of rice and roti that I have in my daily life is, in the breakfast I have completely taken away rice and roti. So yes, I do have idli and dosa sometimes, but most of the days I have a breakfast which has eggs or some fish fry or chicken fry or something which can be eaten without rice or roti, and I have fruits and I have some vegetables that you can have raw, like salads, carrot, cucumber and all, and of course there's nuts and sprouts. So these are enough. Like, you will realize that actually they are enough. You don't need rice or roti to make you feel full. So, but it may take some time for your body to adjust, but that's personally how I eliminated rice and roti from my breakfast. And during the lunch and dinner, I do not keep much control over the amount of rice or roti, but yes, I do keep it in mind that I have more curries if possible. If I like a particular curry with a lot of rice, then I will have, like, I will mix it in that proportion only. So I don't obsess over it. I try to reduce as much as possible, but I don't try to avoid it. No, don't take away the joy of your food, okay? Just be very, like, just take out the things which are easily doable, easily implementable for you at this point in time. And from there, if it's possible, you can go to the, like, people who are in sports or in performances. Like, you need to have, you need to maintain a certain, energy throughout that performance, and also they might go to a little more extreme. So depending on your life conditions, you can adjust on what is it, that how much you want to avoid and how much you want to be okay with it. But if you're someone who has, low energy levels, you are unhappy all the time, then it is time that you take very good care of how much carbs you are eating, how much sugar you are eating. Another example in which I try to reduce carb is, let's say I make dal, then instead of having, like, mixing dal with rice, I try to have a bowl of dal by itself. And if I feel like I need rice, then I put a very little bit of, rice, so that it feels soupy, and so I have it. It is tasty for me. And let's say that I want to have curd, then instead of curd rice, then maybe I will switch to buttermilk. Not all the time. If I feel that that particular day there's more carbs, then instead of having curd rice, I will just have buttermilk. So that is how, just being a little conscious, intuitive about the food that you eat, you can reduce the amount of carbs. But as long as you are reducing the sugary and the processed part, you will see a huge difference. Now, the next thing is, like I said, how to have sugary desserts in a much more healthier way. When you have sugar on an empty stomach, so this particular concept is from, told by a blogger who goes by the name Glucose Goddess. So I will link her account in the description box as well, so you can check it out. So she actually tells very beautifully about all of this, so you should check it out. So what happens is, when you have sugar on an empty stomach, it is going to give you a larger spike, okay? But when you have a dessert after a full meal, then it is going to have a lesser impact, or maybe no impact at all right? So that is probably why, in, traditionally, when we have food, we have dessert at last, right? So this is probably the reason. Just ensure that you're not having it on an empty stomach. So that is how you can have sweets in a healthier way. Always have it in combination with your meal. Have it after your meal, okay? So this is one topic that is important. And another thing that you may find it interesting is, this is not a topic but a particular blogger recommendation. He goes by the name Insulin Resistant. So I will leave that also in the description box below. So he basically, what he does is, he eats a food and he talks about what is the effect of that food on his blood sugar, okay? So that will give you an idea as to what foods are going to cause you a spike. So that is one interesting thing that you can follow. Now, apart from all of this, there is something called the GI, Glycemic Index, which is an indicator, a measure of how much a particular food is going to cause you a spike. Like, a higher GI will indicate a larger spike. So this way also you can judge for yourself as to what foods are good for you or bad for you. But I personally don't use the GI because I like to keep it as simple as possible. And sometimes something like, some foods like watermelon has, high GI. But I don't really want to avoid watermelon. I don't want to focus on avoiding watermelon. I instead want to focus on avoiding ice creams or cool drinks or processed foods. So it is the focus, because we cannot be like, life is not about being perfect, right? It is about eliminating the bad things as much as possible, and in the process some bad things do stay, and that's okay. So that's why I don't really go behind the GI. I try to just eat all kinds of fruits and vegetables. and try to avoid the processed foods, spend my energy on avoiding processed foods. So yes, that's about it. If I miss out any point, then I will talk about it in the description box. That's all for this video. If you did like it, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to check out the blogger links that I will give in the description box.